So I want to talk to you today about this subject: how rich people use debt to create wealth. Before we do that, let's talk about how rich people make money. How do rich people make money? Well, we don't make money by selling our time, okay? And we may sell some of our time. It's not what we do to create wealth. So how do rich people make money? Here's how we create money, and here's why we create money. How we create money is by creating value for others. Now, that may sound kind of esoteric, so I'm going to break it down to you. So, what do I mean when I say creating value for others? First of all, you can't create value for someone until what? You know what's valuable to someone. So the first thing I've got to do is I've got to discover what's valuable to you. If I know what's valuable to you, then I've got at least got a chance of creating value for you, right? So, what creates value? Where do values come from? Where do your values come from? The people that come to mind, top of mind. Are you ready? Number one, values come from past perceived voids. Past perceived voids create present pursued values. Past perceived voids, what does that mean? That means something that you felt like was missing in your past. You desire that. That's valuable to you because you always desired it but never had. It feels like something was missing in their past. If you figure out a way to create that and present it to them in the present, they will more than likely say yes. But you have to care enough about their past perceived voids instead of using them to fulfill your past perceived voids. You have to stop thinking about yourself long enough to create value for somebody other than yourself. Are y'all with me? Okay. Creating value for others. Past perceived voids is one place that value comes from. Where's another place value comes from? It comes from present perceived virtues. What does that mean? Things that people in the present perceive as good or virtuous, that's valuable. People who go to the gym, you know why they go to the gym and pay for a gym membership? Because they perceive fitness as value, as a virtue in the present. So therefore, a gym can sell them a membership. I'm 60, productive enough to create what other people perceive as valuable. Are y'all tracking? And so what I do is I'm like, oh, they would like to have this result. I know how to get that result. I'll just show them how to get that result and let them pay me. Are y'all tracking? So wealthy people create value for others. That's the primary way we get. So creating value for other people is how rich people create debt or create wealth. Okay? Unless, of course, so we create wealth. We create value for other people. Another way we create wealth is making our money work. What do you mean making our money work? So we invest money so money can work for us when we're not working. We build systems and invest in things that can make money for us when we're not working. See, poor people, middle class people can only make money when they're working. Get your money out of the unemployment line and make it work for you. You worked for it, make it work for you. Okay, so why do rich people make money? Well, that's how rich people make money. Why do we make money? Here's why we make money. The primary purpose, when I'm building my financial house. So we have our income window, and our income comes from our creativity. We come up with these ideas, right? And that idea makes money. And then, so if we have I'm going to change that. We have our IPA window, our income producing asset window. This is our income window. And then we have our wealth reducing liabilities window. And then we have our outgo window. Okay. Poor people, when they get money, it comes down here and goes out there. Middle class people, when they get money, it comes down here and then goes through there and then goes out there. Rich people, when we get money, here's the first thing we do with it. Take that money and put it over there. Take that money and put it over here. When I first put that money over there, nothing happens. This is why, that's the number one reason I believe most people never get rich. Because when you first start, we don't put all of our money over there. I mean, when you first get started, some of your money will go down here and some of your money will go down here. But if you'll put some more money, then you get some more money put over there. You put some more money over there, and eventually, one day, all of a sudden, this thing starts giving it back to you. And it says, oh, okay, you're going to do that, I'll do that. And then you keep doing this, and then the amount that this window gives you, this window starts getting bigger, and it starts getting bigger, and it starts putting more money back here. And eventually, this window gets so big that not only does it give you money, but it also pays all your bills, and it also pays off all your credit, all your debt. This is how rich people think. This is why we make money. We make money to feed our income-producing asset window, so our income-producing asset window can pay all of our bills and pay off all of our debts and provide us income. That's now, most people never think about this, right? But this is when it comes to money, this is all I think about. I mean, how can I make money to go buy something? I don't ever want to make money to buy something. That doesn't make any sense to me. If I want to buy something, I'll go come up with a new idea. I'll let that new idea make me some money, and I'll take some of this money and go buy some. But the primary objective of all the cash that comes in here, the primary objective is to put it over here so it keeps on. And this window starts kicking off so much cash that eventually this window becomes so big that it makes all of the other, that window, not that window, but this window and this window, they become nebulous. They don't matter. They're so insignificant. They're like less than a mosquito bite. That's why we make money. Now, why do rich people borrow money? Because that was confusing. Money that we are putting in our income producing asset window, this money that I'm putting in this window makes so much money, and it makes so much money that it doesn't make sense for me to take the money out of here to buy something. So I can either take money out of my income producing asset window to go buy something, or I can borrow money from a bank. So let's say I borrow the money from a bank, and let's say the interest rate is terrible. Let's say let's say I'm borrowing money to buy a car, and let's say I've got to pay 7%. That's a crazy interest rate for a car, right? 7%, but it's 7% simple interest. It's 7% per year. So let's say it's a $100,000 car. Okay, so if I'm borrowing $100,000 to buy a car, right? And that $100,000, I'm paying $7,000 per year in interest. Well, the first year, because the last year, I'm also paying down the principal. So the next year, the amount I'm paying in interest is going to be a little less, and the year after that, it's going to be a little less, and the year after that, it's going to be a little less. But if I have $100,000 invested, rich people borrow money because we can always use the bank's money cheaper than we can use our own. And that's why we don't focus on getting out of debt. So that's one reason we borrow money. One reason we borrow money is because we can use the bank's money cheaper than we can use our own. Another reason we borrow money is because when I borrow money, when I talk about borrowing money now I'm talking about a different kind of debt. I'm talking about consumer debt, credit card debt. Why do rich people use credit cards when we have cash? Why would I use a credit card when I have cash? That doesn't make any sense. Why do we use credit cards? The reason we use credit cards is because credit cards have these things called points. Now, what are points? Points are a fancy word for dollars. Points are a fancy word for dollars. What does that mean? Points are a fancy word for dollars. So I'm going to look at it now. You put points on your Marriott card. You can go stay in a suite that would cost you $16,000 for free. Rich people, we borrow money because it makes us money. If I would have spent that same money, if I would have spent that $141,000 by writing checks or by putting it on a debit card, I would have earned no points. But if I earn 2.5 points, and I don't know if it's 2.5 points or whatever it is, it might be 1.75, depending on what. Let's take that 141,000. We'll just make it even 141,000 times 1.7%. I made that made me $239. You say, but it's only $239, right? That's the difference between how rich people think and how poor people think. So you think it's only $239. I think it's only another $239. The other reason we borrow money is sometimes we borrow money as income. What does that mean when you borrow money as income? If I own a real estate property, I can borrow against the equity of that property. I can use that equity as cash, and I pay zero tax on it. You say, but don't you have to pay it back? I do. But the tenants who rent the property pay off the debt. Wait, so you're telling me that you can borrow money, use it as tax-free income, and somebody else pays it off? Yes. And every time I borrow to buy real estate, I get appreciation. What does that mean? The property that you bought becomes worth more over time. Why? Because the money in your pocket becomes worth less over time. I'm seeing poor people are afraid of debt. Middle class people are used by debt. Rich people, we use debt to create wealth. So we borrow as income. We use debt as income. Borrow as income. Changes the game. But poor people are afraid to, but how much are the payments? Stop asking how much stuff costs and start asking how much is stuff worth. It'll change the game for you. Change the game for me. So borrows income. Okay, a HELOC. What's a HELOC? Home Equity Line of Credit. This is the most important word in that whole thing. Line. It's not a loan. It's a line. What's the difference between a loan and a line? A loan is a one-way door. You can put money in it, but you can't take money out of it. Like you borrow the money. When you put money in to pay off that loan, you can't come back and say, hey, that money I paid you last week, I want some of it back. But if it's a line, you can put money in it, and you can take money out of it. In fact, when you get a home equity line of credit, they give you this really cool thing called a what? A checkbook. Some of them will even give you a debit card against your equity in your house. You say, why would I do that? Because it makes sense. Here's what I would be willing to do. If I had equity in a home, let's say you've got $200,000 of equity in a home. The bank will give you a line of credit up to 80% of that $200,000 worth of equity. So they'll give you a home equity line of credit for $160,000. Okay. If you have that much, let's say you only owe $100,000 on the house. You owe $100,000. They'll loan you $160,000, 80% of the value. So now what you do is you take the home equity line of credit. So in fact, I'm going to draw it for you. So you got your house. The bank owns the house. You own $160,000 of the house. $160,000 of the house. The bank says, we will give you a line of credit for the part of the house you own. You say, okay, I'll take it. So you take the $160,000, and the first thing you do is you pay off the $100,000. So now how much do you have left? You have $60,000. And you paid off your mortgage. But you have access to $60,000. So now, let's say you make take home, I don't know what people make, but let's just say you make $5,000 per month. If you make $5,000 a month, and you take the $5,000 a month that you make as income, and you pay down, you put it into your home equity line of credit. So now you pay that $5,000 in. So now some of it went to interest. So let's just say now you owe $156,000. Let's say $1,000 that went to interest, right? So you owe $156,000. Okay. So $156,000 is what you owe. But now you have bills. Well, you took your whole paycheck for that month and you put it into your home equity line of credit. Let's say your bills are $3,000. Okay? So you take $3,000 and you pay your bills. So now That takes us back up to 159,000, right? But then the next month you pay the 5,000 in again, and it takes it down to 156,000. Actually, it'd be less than that because you'd have some principal. Let's say 154,000. And then you just keep on doing this. And what happens is, because you paid off this this debt here, the money that you're borrowing, the money that you borrow out of your home equity line of credit to pay your bills every month, this $3,000 that you borrow every month, but every month you're also taking this to $5,000 and you're paying down this equity. What happens is you end up paying off this mortgage. Instead of taking you 10 more years to pay it off, it might take you 4 more years to pay it off. So you're using debt to you're using a home equity line of credit to eliminate your debt. Now you want to take this to the ultimate extreme? This is the ultimate extreme. You ready? When you buy your house, buy it as a duplex. And so you live in this side. This is your house. This is your tenant's house. And then tenant pays the note, and that note pays off both properties. So you get to live here for free. And then when you borrow a home equity line of credit, now you don't even have a mortgage anymore. You just have electric bill, gas bill, insurance, etc. This is why rich people borrow money. This is why I've had a home equity line of credit since 2008, and I use my home equity line of credit to pay down debt faster. It'll change the game for you. In fact, here's why banks want you to refinance your house at a lower interest rate. You think they want you to refinance at a lowest interest rate because they care about you having a lower payment. Yeah, we want to help you out. We're going to give you a lower payment. That's the sales pitch. That's the large print that giveth. Do y'all want to know what the small print that taketh away says? When you refinance your house at a lower interest rate, you just started the whole 30-year amortization process period over again, and the majority of the money that you pay in the beginning of the loan, the majority of it goes to interest. So even though your interest rate is lower and you're making a smaller payment, you're paying them more interest over time than you would have had you not gotten a lower interest rate with had you not refinanced your house and got a lower interest. So instead of getting a home equity loan, or instead of refinancing your house, get a home equity line of credit and use your line of credit to pay your debts and your bills, and then don't use it to buy junk, to buy things that make you money. The last thing I'm going to say is this: just like when we borrow money, just like when we make money, the primary purpose that rich people use to borrow money is rich people borrow to make money. Why do rich people borrow to make money? To create wealth faster. Your personal finances, the velocity of this window and the velocity of this window need to be faster than the velocity of this window and this window. Now, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. Wealth is measured more in time than it is in money. Then the secret to you creating wealth is not you making more money, it's you making money faster. In fact, I submit to you that everybody listening to me right now, if you make any money at all, you make enough money. You just make it too slowly. What does that mean? Well, see, you spend money all day, every day. Right? Because right now you're spending money. I'm not spending money right now. If you live in Florida and you have an air conditioner in your house, the sun is out, it's hot out there, you're spending money because your air conditioner is running. And you have a refrigerator and that's running. And you might have a sprinkler system and that might be running. You spend money all day. Every time you flush a toilet, you spend some money. Money down the toilet. Okay? Every time you spend money, every time you flush a toilet, every time you open your refrigerator door, every time your air conditioner comes on, every time your heat comes on, every time you drive your car, you are spending money all day, every day. And you think it's okay for you to get paid once a month, or once a week, or once every 2 weeks. And you're not willing to do something to increase the velocity with which you get paid. That's why you're stuck. because you're focused on making more instead of making the same amount faster. If you take your annual income, you start making that every month, you're 12 times richer. If you take your monthly income, start making that every week, you're 4 times richer than you used to be. And so don't think so much about increasing the volume of your wealth creation. Think more about how do I increase the velocity of my wealth creation? Because if you increase the velocity of your wealth generation, the volume of your wealth creation over time will automatically get bigger. That changes the game for you. And this is what I mean when I say rich debt, poor debt. There's a difference between why rich people borrow money, why and how poor people, middle class, and rich people make money, spend money, and borrow money. So I hope you will like sit down with this video with a notepad and a paper in your hand, make some decisions based on this new awareness. Set a new intention based on this new awareness that you're going to start getting richer today because you're going to start doing things with your money that make dollars and not just cents. Thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all being here. Stay blessed by the best, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.